Harold Hare and the brand new comfy slippers. As you know, Harold Hare is the funniest, most topsy-turvy hare in the whole world. Harold lives in Leafy Wood in a very comfy cottage with his little friend Dickie Dormouse. Dickie is Harold's best friend. When Harold has nothing very important to do, he likes nothing better than to go out for a ride on his unicycle. What's a unicycle? I thought you might ask that. Well, a unicycle is rather like a bicycle, except it only has one wheel, and no handlebars, and no brakes, and worst of all, no jolly bell to ring. A one-wheeled cycle. You can imagine how clever you have to be to ride one, and it took Harold quite a long time to learn. Perhaps you've seen a circus, and you might have seen clowns riding unicycles. Clowns always make people laugh and smile, and that's a very fine thing to do, and Harold likes to make people happy as well. So, as I said, whenever he has nothing much to do, and when it's drizzly or grey, Harold goes riding all around Leafy Wood, cheering the people up and making them laugh. Since he has no handlebars on his unicycle to put a bell on, Harold would sometimes carry a bell in his hand, and it sounded like this. Then he would shout out a silly joke. "Hello, good morning. Now then, what's a flower you can eat with cheese?" "A cauliflower, you sillies. Ha ha!" "What makes a worm and a clever rabbit so alike?" he calls. "You can't guess? You can't pull their legs." Harold is so merry, he makes all the folk who live in Leafy Wood happy too. Harold knows lots of jokes, and he loves to tell them, even though most of his jokes are very silly. His friends never get tired of hearing them. However, this particular morning, Harold decided to stay at home, and so he snuggled into his comfiest, squeakiest old armchair in his cosy front room and began looking at his favourite comic. All around the walls of Harold's room were pictures of carrots and lettuces and all the things that hares and rabbits like. Dickie Dormouse sat himself on the arm of the chair. Harold likes stories where hares, or at least rabbits, have smallish adventures and then come home with lots of carrots too. Little Dickie Dormouse wasn't particularly interested in carrots, and he yawned and then stared down at Harold's huge feet. "Harold Hare," he squeaked, "just look at your slippers." Harold blinked and his two big ears stood up in surprise. "What's wrong with my extra comfy slippers?" he asks. "What's wrong?" squeaks Dickie. "Well, just look, your toes are poking through the ends." Harold looks at his feet. "I like them like that. I enjoy wiggling my toes about," said Harold. But Dickie kept on grumbling. Harold had planned a nice day at home with his comics and a carrot or two or three, but Dickie insisted that he went straight away to the shoe shop to buy some new ones. In the shoe shop, the bunny rabbit who worked there was very pleased to see him. Everyone likes Harold. "Good morning," he says. "How nice to see you, Harold, and what can I do for you?" Harold looked a bit fed up. "I'd like some extra comfy slippers, please, in a very large size, and preferably," that means what he liked most, "preferably in lettuce green or carrot red." The bunny rabbit goes to the back of the shop and soon returns with a mountainous pile of shoe boxes, labelled slippers, big, bigger, medium bigger, biggest, giant size, and extra giant size may also be used as canoe. Harold tries them all, but none of them fit. Harold has very, very large feet, much, much bigger than rabbits' feet, more like kangaroos' feet, although, of course, Harold hadn't heard of kangaroos, and even if he had, he wouldn't have believed it. "Those look smart," says the bunny. Harold squeezes into yet another pair. Well, he said, they're tight, and tight slippers are definitely not comfy. Then Harold had an idea. I don't suppose you have a large pair of scissors, he asked. Not long after that, little Dickie heard Harold coming up the garden path. Dickie always knew when it was Harold coming because his feet made such a loud... He ran out into the garden to meet him. Harold had a big smile on his face, and under his arm he carried a large shoebox. "I've got my slippers," he calls. "A lovely pair." "Well done, Harold," squeaks Dickie, his whiskers quivering with excitement. "I'm sure you'll feel much better in a smart, brand-new pair." Harold marched into their cosy front room, and together they undid the string and opened up the box. Harold puts the slippers on, and Dickie is amazed. The slippers are indeed brand new, but Harold had cut the ends off, and his own long toes were peeping through as usual. Harold giggled. "These new slippers are nearly as comfy as my old ones." Dickie can hardly believe what he sees, but then he has to laugh as well. What a topsy-turvy, funny hare Harold is. And that's all until the next time.
What do you think of that then?
Good.
You like it?
Thank you. Have you got another one?
We haven't yet. That's why we played it to you, to see if you liked it. If everybody likes it, then perhaps we'll make some more.
I like it.
Do you?
I like it. I'll start it up.
That's a microphone. So that you can all come and tell me what you thought about it, if you'd like to. Tell me what you remember about the story then.
Well, there's a bunny rabbit, and he went to buy some shoes, and he came home with a load of old boxes, and his friend said,
His friend Dickie Dormouse, wasn't it?
yeah, he said, he tried them on, and he said they're too big, and that's all I remember.
What did he do because they were too big? Do you remember that? He asked for a pair of scissors, didn't he?
Yeah, so, and he...
He cut the end off to make them comfortable.
Yeah.
So they were just the same as his old ones. Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you. What can you remember about it? Who was it about?
Pardon?
Who was it about?
The rabbit. He went to buy some shoes.
Yeah.
And he bought boxes of them. And some were little, and one was big, one was medium size.
And there was a very, very big size. What? Do you remember what they said you could do with the very big ones?
Yes, make a boat.
I thought that was quite good, didn't you? Yeah. Do you remember what he does with carrots?
He eats them.
What was? Do you remember that? They didn't actually say, did they? They didn't say that he eats them. They made a noise, didn't they? What was the noise like? Yeah. Did you like that bit? I thought that was good. Good. Thank you very much. Tell me what you thought about it first. Was it good or bad or what?
It was very good. I think I like it. He had some new pair of slippers and he cut them open and his toes pointed through.
Yeah.
And the other little bunny's friend, well, he was laughing.
What would your mother say if you've got a new pair of slippers and you cut the toes off? My word, would she be cross?
Yeah.
Just to make him a bit more comfortable.
1, 2, 3, 2.
Hear now the sad story of poor Edward Walsh. Who thought all religion was just so much bosh. Brought up as a Catholic, he tried so hard. Genuflecting, confessing, aloud, aloud, he tried. He spoke with an old man who'd been in the war. He caught much, but remember the things that he stole. The gunpowder grey of the liberation. Died and went dying, went home, waiting, he cried. The old man was kind and he said to young Ted, there's many what's a living, they're already dead. In the Great War, my son, I was RSM. I spent 4 years smart telling lies to my men. Over and over and ever again. Over the top you go, my lad. Over the top you go. Over and over, ever again. Over the top you go.
Join us now for the seal of the century. For a record £3.99, who is Peter Gabriel?
Hare, you silly beggar crossing sheep with kangaroos. Reckon you'll start breeding woolly jumpers. Peter Gabriel,
Join us now for the seal of the century. For a record £3.99, who is Peter Gabriel?
Well, were he merely Peter Gabriel, I'd say he'd be a queer French cheese. Peter Gabriel,
Join us now for the seal of the century. For a record £3.99, who is Peter Gabriel?
Simple. Peter, therefore stone. Gab, he has the gift of it. Real to twist, I'd say twist the Blarney Stone. Peter
Join us now for the seal of the century. For a record £3.99, who is Peter Gabriel?
Peter, one of the 12 apostles, author of 2 epistles, and gopher for our heavenly Papa. Peter Gabriel,
Join us now for the seal of the century. For a record £3.99, who is Peter Gabriel?
What, Pete the Peterman Gabriel? Right, little tea-leaf. Ginger ding-dong, so like a little Richard III.
Peter Gabriel,
Join us now for the seal of the century. For a record £3.99, who is Peter Gabriel?
Well, dear, he's got acute paranoia. Acute pair of lovely lusty lungs, but he gets it all down one side. Surgical stocking.
Peter
Join us now for the seal of the century. For a record £3.99, who is Peter Gabriel?
Gone Galaxy, Lily, Rocket Man, I'm gonna spit. Dirty language, okay, bum.
Peter Gabriel,
Join us now for the seal of the century. For a record £3.99, who is Peter Gabriel?
I recall taking fresh baked roll tarts up to Peter, and he said to me,
Peter
Join us now for the seal of the century. For a record £3.99, who is Peter Gabriel?
Yeah, he's related to Gabriel Rossetti. I love the big kunst, many and money, the Jewish boys and so on.
Peter
British Brainwashing Controller presents Colonel Knutt Lemmy and Bear on the Dead. A serial specially written for radio in 4 parts. Episode 1, Scorpion Tracks. We join the Colonel and likeable, cheeky, Cockney-voiced Lemmy in their bachelor pad near London's notorious Carnaby Street, reminiscing together over a sherry. What do they say?
Thank you, amigo. Well, it seems the natives had it in their noddles that if a chap's heart and soul was pure, the poison wouldn't harm him. Poor old Hargreaves died almost immediately. Then I had to drag the blighter back to HQ.
Tell you what, you put your feet up and I'll make a nice jar of rosy leaf.
Bother, there's someone at the door.
I'll get it, Colonel.
Who is it?
He's gone now, sir. It's a telegram, sir, for you.
Thank heavens, I thought we'd never get started. Well, open it up. Let's see what's from.
It's from Lord Portlier Bump, sir. He seems quite upset.
Really? Let's have a look. Dear Knutt, stop. Am in dreadful Tiswas. Stop. Need help? Stop. Urgent. Stop. Unison fishing tackle taken by gorillas. Stop. Half crazed with fear. Stop. Please come at once. Stop. Help me. Knutt. Stop. Help me. Stop. Help. Stop. Knutt. Stop. Bump. Stop. I expected something like that.
All the same, Governor. You've got to admit it's a neat bit of jiggery-pokery.
But this is no simply a schoolboy prank, Lemmy. If those gorillas carried P45s and insurance cards stamped up to date,
He could threaten the entire economy. You'd better stand back. I'm going to use my brain.
Righto, Governor. I'll just crouch down behind the settee.
I wonder what I should wear this evening. My hair has been looking such a mess lately. No, concentrate. Got rid of it. Now, if my hunch is right, the scorpion's behind this little lot, or I'm Glenda Jackson. If I lose any more hair, I will be. Okay, Lemmy, you can come out now, all clear. I think I'm onto something.
The scorpion, sir.
The very same. He's got his fingerprints all over this little lot.
I'll bring a bit of wild wool with me. We can get most of it off on the way down.
Good idea. But first I've got to check my body. There could be devil's work tonight, and it's imperative that every one of my powerful muscles dramatically obeys my every command. Watch this. Pectorals to latissimus dorsi. Flex and hold.
Truth.
Excellent. All right, I'll get strapped up again and we'll be on our way. Come on, Lemmy, get your finger out.
Righto, Governor.
There's the house now, through the trees. There seem to be any lights on. Strange. Perhaps we've chosen an inconvenient time to call.
Hello, sir. Look over there.
Where's that?
I can see a man behind that bush.
Lord, you're right, Lemmy. He's got a pair of binoculars trained on the house.
That's not binoculars, Governor. He's having a crafty drink.
Oh, thank God there aren't any women present. He hasn't seen us yet. We'll creep up on him. Good evening, fellow. My name is Colonel Knutt, spelt with a K. And this is my cheeky Cockney assistant, Lemmy.
Yeah, how's your luck?
What you want, me? Just a few questions and a slug of that ruby wine, if you'd be so decent. Thank you. Lemmy?
Oh, Chief. I used to use this stuff for unblocking the sink.
Good idea. Now then, you. I wonder if you can help me. I don't suppose you know anything about a chap they call the Scorpion.
You keep away from me. I don't do nothing to help me. The fingers, the eyes, leave me alone. Get away.
Blimey, Governor. He made the sign of the cross and took off like a rabbit.
Left the bottle there, eh?
Hello, sir. He's left a sort of collar thing here on the ground.
Better put it away for future reference, Lemmy.
I know, sir. It could be a lead.
We always say that, don't we? Let's get into the house now, quiet. Silent as a tomb. And the door's open.
Oh, lummy. Bit of cold in here, Governor.
Get your milk salt, Lemmy. Be like me. I always cover my body with cooking fat before an assignment. A trick I picked up from the Indians, as a matter of fact. Shall I be called upon to swim in Arctic waters? Well, I'm protected, and if a criminal was wily enough to surprise me, have a bit of a job getting a grip, eh?
Oh, you're a bit of a slippery customer, if you ask me, Colonel.
Hold it down. This looks like the door to the cellar. I'm going in to have a look. You wait here and keep your eyes peeled, then lightly dust them over with garlic juice.
Righto, sir, but mind how you go. I'll be right here.
Oh, big guns. Nothing much down here that I can see. Wait a minute, though. Hello? Looks like a pile of old wigs. Great guns! Get off me!
Colonel! Look, you all right? Colonel, you all right, mate?
After the cooking fat must have worn off. He's got a grip of me. Go and get some help there, quickly now. Take 10 men to hold this brute down.
Right away, sir, right away. You hold on. I'll be back to you. You leave it alone.
Lemmy, wait.
Colonel.
Leave the bottle, Lemmy! Leave the bottle! In Breath from the Pit, Lemmy was played by Keith Moon. Will Lemmy leave the bottle? Will the Colonel use his magic trousers? Know all, hear all, rock all. Next week in Episode 2, A Tickler for Colonel Knutt.
Machines were mice and men were lions once upon a time, but now that it's the opposite, it's twice upon a time.
Get it? Also, on the sleeve note, he says, talking about originality, I do not strive to be different for the sake of being different, but do not mind being different if my difference is a result of my being myself. Quite so. Moondog, Moonwalk. Thinking of the moon reminds me of Surreal time. The owl was played by John Walters, and Lemmy is played by Shepherd's Bush-reared Keith Moon.
The British brainwashing controller presents Colonel Knutt and Lemmy in Breath from the Pit, a serial specially written for radio in 4 parts. Episode 2, A Tickler for Colonel Knutt. Last week we heard how Colonel Knutt and his likeable, cheeky Cockney assistant Lemmy went to Lord Portley's country seat to help clear up the gorilla business. What do you do with a bit of that army roses? In the cellar, the Colonel disturbs a gigantic gorilla, and while he struggles, Lemmy races for help. At first it seems the fight is anybody's, then a huge swipe to the temples brings the Cambodian Empire tumbling round his ears, and with it, merciful oblivion. When Knutt regains his senses, he's one short, stuck to the floor and heavily gagged with one of his own socks. Now hear this. Great guns! I can hardly breathe. What the devil have I got in my mouth? It smells like the bathroom at Hotel Kazi after a curry. Only one way out of this one. Eat it. Oh, that's better. Wish I had some brown sauce on it all the same. Now, where am I? Seems to be some kind of cellar. I'm stuck down, and what am I lying in? Either somebody's spilt sultanas all over the place, or there's been a recent plague of rabbits. By the beard of Gulbenkian, a pretty kettle of fish for a tall, angular, 27-year-old active man with a torso like the young Heracles and my insurance card stamped up to date. Nom de Dieu, someone coming. Best to keep doggo. Shouldn't cost all that much to feed. I'll just lie inert until my extraordinary brain comes across with a ruse. Good evening, Colonel Knutt. Great guns and scorpion by all that's loathsome. He's had a bit of reupholstery on his boat brace, but I'd know that beastly breath anywhere. My dear Knutt, I know that you are awake. Why, only a few Augenblicks ago I had the pleasure of seeing you eat your own sock like an animal. So, you insist on trying my patience too far. Very well. Horace, bite him deep. Oh! Okay. All right, you black-hearted squid, I'm awake, so what? From what filthy nest of vipers' spawn conjured you up? No, my colonel, my little pantomime brings you to me. Pantomime, eh? So you planned it all. Why, if I went pinioned to the floor with these strips of sticky tape of a well-known proprietary brand, Save your breath, colonel. Soon you will need every gasp. What, you devil? With blowing up balloons? I like balloons. Or is it blow football, eh? I'm good at that. You can't frighten me. I'm wearing Thompsons. Thompsons? Of course. The Thompson Intrepid trouser. For the chap who likes to do 2 things at once. 2 things? Come closer. I wonder if you've noticed the concealed dual-purpose zip. Evidently. I'm a dead duck if this wheeze doesn't come off. You see, Thompsons invert to make an attractive balaclava helmet to fit a big rabbit or a useful shovel. Like these trousers I'm wearing myself. You unspeakable swine! Those are my easy breezes. Yes. Give them back to me immediately. Strip a chap to his sub-trousers, would you? Why, I'm quite powerless. I'm jolly cold around the old privates without them. I wouldn't stand up without a towel. I never would. Stop spitting, blast you. Silence, Colonel. Control yourself. Believe me, you are impeccably dressed for tonight's entertainment. Crab! Crab, come here! Yes, master. Crab. Sorry, master. I was eating a worm.
Well, put it down. Good grief, a talking gorilla. I wonder if he plays bass guitar, make a fortune with the right management.
Crab, I want you to release the Colonel and bring him to me in the ping-pong room.
Meanwhile, desperate to rescue his Führer, likable Lemmy has returned to the house with 10 strong men.
Muscles like the binder one, yeah.
Very strong.
Hard arm.
Very, very strong. You want to see me lift something, eh? I can lift anything, not can me.
Right. We'll just creep round the back and take a look, see?
Yeah,
You lot come with me and keep it quiet like.
Keep it very quiet.
Hello. Hello, there's a blinking light on upstairs. Here, Crusher. Give us an hand, we're screwing a suit.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Right, tries a bit on the torso, doesn't he? Hey, what's he look like?
Here, go now. Yeah, see, like, if they spot me, they'll think I'm on their side, eh? Yeah, right now. You geezers, get down behind that rody blinking dendron bush and keep your heads down. Someone up there, all right? I can hear the voices. And what's that other noise? Horrible. Ooh, sounds like eyeballs popping out.
What will Lemmy find in the ping-pong room? Will the Colonel win back his magic trousers? Who is the belcher of Britain? Know the answers to these and many more questions next week in episode 3. Lemmy makes a boob. You're all waiting, wanting. Get those popcorn packets open. It's edge of the seat time. British Brainwashing Controller presents Colonel Knutt and Lemmy in Breath from the Pit. Episode 3, Lemmy makes a boob. Last week we gasped when Colonel Knutt, still minus his magic trousers, was grabbed by Crab, the Scorpion's personal gorilla, and dragged to the games room. Meanwhile, Lemmy has hired a gorilla suit of a well-known proprietary brand and is even now crouched in the bushes outside the house with 10 strong men. Now hear this.
So I think you're getting the feeling back into your limbs now, Colonel? Ha! And we toss the coin.
Heads. I know which side the industry's buttered.
Tails. Damn.
Your service, mein Colonel. You unspeakable swine. At least you might have the decency to remove this revolting sticky tape.
Very well. Crab! Sorry, Master. I was just eating a hedgehog. I'll get it off.
Ah, goodness for that. Now let the play begin.
Love one, Colonel Knutt.
Love one? I'd love one chance to get my hands on those trousers. He's taken them off for the game and left them over the back of a chair. One distraction and they're mine. Meanwhile, outside in the grounds, Lemmy has decided on a course of action. Yes, action, the all-purpose liquid for acne, paint stripping and constipation sufferers anywhere, anytime. He begins to scale the walls. Guts, then removing the bones, stuffs with a puree of slug.
I'll climb up this trellis. Right, here we are. Now, if I can just lash myself to the trellis with my tail, I'll have both hands free and I can still see in. Half a mo, they. Gorillas don't have tails. They flogged me a blinking monkey. Just wait till I get back to the shop. Now then, what's going on inside? Strike me pig! There's the governor in his unmentionables, playing ping-pong with some weird-looking geezer. I'd better get mum. If he sees me like this, it could well put him off his stroke. Here, go on, Governor. Give him the old corkscrew.
And love too. I'd love to ram your socks down your smirking sardonic cake-hole, though I don't fancy taking him off much. The blighter's got a club foot. Don't suppose he washes it much. I'll let him have the old corkscrew. Ha! A clever stroke, Colonel Knutt. 1, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2, testing.
Silence, Crab. I too know something of spins. Try this one, Colonel Knutt. In your gutter language, it is called the bizarre one. By all that's filthy. Over the net, off the wall, 3 spins, under the table, onto my side, and... oh, bottom. 2-2, deuce. Deuce, mein lieber trouserless Colonel Knutt. Deuce, ha 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 ha. Deuce, eh? No, I'd rather have cornflakes. An active chap needs a bit of roughage, and since I started, I've been as regular as clockwork. Thine last service, Colonel Knutt. Right, I'll get the ball. Great guns, there's one of your blasted apes watching us from the window. It's waving and winking at me. You unspeakable scoundrel. I knew we weren't alone. My apologies, Colonel Knutt. The beast has no business here. Allow me to punish him. Blimey, Governor! Does this mean curtains for Lemmy? Has the Scorpion finally done for our clean-cut Cockney chum? Where are the 10 strong men? Who is the belcher of Britain? How am I going to finish this rubbish next week? They'll all have to die. Yes, die! Stop. Know all, hear all, find out in next week's final episode. Welks.
British Brainwashing Controller presents Colonel Knutt and Lemmy in Breath from the Pit. Last week we heard how likeable, cheeky Cockney Lemmy, thinly disguised as a gorilla, was dispatched by the Scorpion with one bolt from his mighty arquebus. Arquebus? What's his arquebus, man? Don't ask me, I don't know nothing. Thankfully, Lemmy is wearing Mastodon's personal protective shield. Mastodon? No, sir. Him die Shiloh long time ago. In the confusion, the quick-thinking, active colonel debags his smirking, sardonic adversary and forces him to surrender at Trouser Point. That's about 4 miles from here, and the soil tends to be alkaline. I remember Al and Big Guy done picked 40 bale one day, no kidding. Meanwhile, in the bushes, Lemmy comes round. No mean feat for a 40-stone man. 40-stone man, I should have said. 40-stone men prefer comfortable, generous, open-minded feet. Why not join the Frank Feeters today?
Oh, good blimey. Where am I?
Stay right where you are and don't distend a nostril.
Blimey, the governor. What a tonic. It's me, Lemmy, your likeable Cockney sidekick.
Don't think you can outsmart me, you pithecoid lout. Though I'll admit you've got the voice and mannerisms off to a T.
Hold up, chieftain. It's me. I'm only wearing a monkey suit. Just let me unzip myself and you'll see.
Stay your hands, fellow. If you are the real Lemmy, what is the connection between mattresses and Camden Town? That's mattresses and Camden Town. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Now I'll open the box. That's an easy one, isn't it? Mattresses, Camden Town. It's got to be the case of the wrinkled retainer.
Right on, Lemmy. The case of the wrinkled retainer. Nasty business all round. Kept the body of his wife in his hot water bottle. If I hadn't spotted those telltale marks on his pyjama bottoms, we might never have got him. You might as well get changed while I can dress my trousers.
Sure, Governor.
Where the dickens is he keeping these monsters? Gorillas like plenty of leg room. Any ideas?
Sure, I'd like to get short of the airy thing, Governor. What about the toilets in a lay-by, chieftain? You never see no one go near them.
Easy to get to by road, of course, but a bit too darned obvious, I reckon. There's something been bothering me, though. Those gorillas have been seen driving cars, doing the Times crossword. Well, some of them have applied for work in the prison service. Who's training them?
Funny you should say that, Governor. I might be able to help you there.
Well, out with it, man.
You remember I did a bit of porridge before I came here?
No, that's ancient history now, Lemmy. Your fetish for porridge doesn't really matter to me at all.
Thanks, Gov. You always were a gent. Well, you meet a lot of queer characters in the nest.
Yes, it's becoming a problem, but I don't know if housing and education are not more important.
Well, there was this bloke in there doing 5 years of refusing AIM and Android. Wild-looking geezer he was, with teeth like rusty nails. Kept himself to himself, never spoke to no one. But of a night time you could hear him, and mumbling and chuckling to himself in his cell.
Like a real case of static in the attic. Bit of a crank, eh? Crank and criminal. Nasty combination.
He was too. I don't know what his real name was, but I was told he used to work in a travelling show as a knife thrower.
Ah!
Called himself a Java carver. But here's the interesting bit. At the end of his act, he'd got like a trampolining routine with 6 full-grown gorillas.
Gorillas, eh? He sounds like the sort of scoundrel we're looking for, but I think we've drawn a blank there, Lemmy. He's safely tucked away inside.
Well, that's where you're wrong, sir. I came out 3 years ago, and he'd already done 2.
3 and 2, eh? Where's that bit of paper? No. According to these calculations, that rascal's already at large. And I think I know where he is. Jump up on me back, Lemmy. We're off to find adventure.
Righto, Governor.
Magic trousers, do your stuff.
Hang on, Lemmy. Go on, Governor. Oh, here, cool. Look at those ants down there. They look just like people.
They are people, Lemmy. They are people. Well, they may look tiny and insignificant from up here, but you ought to see them when there's a scrap on.
Right.
Or when some foreign bounder gives our pigmented friends a hard time. And when some blasted bureaucratic bungler or demoniacal demagogue posing as a prime minister imposes his pervertic politics on the poor impressionable proletariat. What do those people do then? Those ants?
They have a bevy, Governor, don't they?
Right on, Lemmy. They drink themselves insensible, and slump in front of their tellies and don't take a blind bit of notice. That's why we're here, with work to do.
Make mine a large one.
Will there be more work for the Colonel? And Lemmy, what of him? What new adventures lie waiting in the long grass? Wherever there's crime or injustice, perhaps a suspicious-looking insurance salesman or a giant squid watching the house, cancel the papers and call for Knutt. You know it makes sense.
Marion reached down to her sandwich tin and selected a slender triangle of crescent relish showing just the correct amount of crust. Then, munching rather delicately for a woman, she rose smiling and looked out of the basket. She glanced across at Benji, nonchalantly pulling at his moustaches and gazing down at the clouds. Above them, like a great shining orb, the balloon shivered very slightly. Benji switched off the engine and started fiddling with his aneroid barometer. Now the only sound was a soft flash of the sail like rudder. Casablanca was far beneath them, distant and unreal despite their riot of send-off. The perfect, the utter stillness, the silence, unlike anything she'd ever heard before. On its breath, the slight wind still held a hint of the sea. Only a little more than 600 miles to Tenerife. The captain tapped his briar out on the back of his neck.
There's something I've been meaning to ask him, dear.
He cleared his throat with a pipe cleaner.
That friend of yours, the biggish one. Pity she couldn't make it.
Marion nodded as if in agreement, but secretly she was pleased and thrilled to be alone with him.
What was the name now?
Why did he have to keep on about her so? Was it mere politeness? Marion wasn't sure, but she slipped on her ukulele and did her best to answer.
They call her Tennessee from Tennessee. She holds 10 sweeties upon her knee. When she does all the fun begins, to play tennis on her double chin. The voice is called the rise in the price of sleep. It's been 10 years since she saw her feet. Lovers haven't anything, I'm sure, to get around her waist. So boy, they got a detour. They call it Kirtan Tessie. Kirtan Tessie from Nashville, Tennessee.
Ah, Tessie, yes. Of course. Fine, big woman. Shame she couldn't come along for the ride. Would have been deuced useful as ballast, what?
Marion was enraptured. This is heavenly, she sighed.
Well, we almost are, said Benji, noting the barometer. 11,000 feet, I've never been so high.
Through the clouds they glimpsed the sea as though through the wrong end of a telescope. Marion wished it would go on forever. It very nearly did. For at that instant the wind turned nasty and blew fierce in their faces. The great ship swung leftward toward the land. Benji grasped the rudder cord and started the engine, but 6 horsepower was quite useless against the blast. Below them, through the racing white, twinkling blue had turned to yellow-brown.
Hang on to the sandbags and start eating! We need all the ballast we can get!
Shouted Benji masterfully. He tried the descend cord, but to no effect. It seemed to go on and on. Faster and faster they flew, mile after mile, for what seemed hours, days perhaps. Yes, days, for they crouched in the bottom of the basket, eyes fast shut against the sand that now stung with the wind.
If you're going to vomit, do it inside!
Benji was very strict about this. They needed all the ballast they could hold. Just as suddenly it stopped, and a sigh of great sandwich went over the side. They stared down. There was nothing but desert, endless, endless dunes. But at least they were now nearer the ground. They'd obviously covered hundreds of miles, for below them they could see angry men on camels, shaking their fists up at them and wiping crest and relish out of their eyes. Marion was visibly shaken. Where are we? She gasped. Captain Benji took her in his powerful arms.
This may be an inappropriate way of saying it, darling, he said for the first time, but I believe, drawing on this skimpy knowledge of the silkworm breeding, that we're...
Somewhere in the heart, far across the eastern sea, someone to me there is singing love songs of early. My desert flower, as we are, I'm calling you, so true. Somewhere in the heart, I have left my heart with you.
On they drifted for 2 days, until far off they spotted a patch of green.
My old Patrick, Moore's eyebrows and almanac. I thought we'd wind up in Timbuktu, but we've passed that, and if I'm not mistaken, that's the dry side of the Gold Coast or a lump of Nigeria,
said Benji, squinting horribly to ascertain the distance. Soon the jungle stretched invitingly below them. At one tug of the cord, the balloon began its descent. Slowly at first, then fast, too fast.
Right! Get 'em off, my dear! Get 'em off!
Yelled Benji excitedly. Marion was horrified.
What? Your bags, my dear! Your bags, you fool! They're coming down a bit too quick for my kidneys.
Swiftly, the heavy sandbags were tossed off. The rest did little to check them, and they entered the arboreal cradle with one devil of a wallop. No bones broken, but Benji had lost his blasted briar. Around them, the startled forest throbbed with unnatural life. Gorgeous butterflies and tiny birds flickered like David Bowie's eyelids through the trees. But on their backs, jungle eyes stuck close as slugs. They chanced upon a trail which might, they hoped, lead them to men. Half dazed, they stumbled forward. Then they saw the tracks, pear-shaped and very deep. And judging by the size of the spoor, if men there were at the end of all this, they must be very big with appalling habits. Very sorry about that, listeners. I don't usually lose control. Back to the story. Ahead a bit and to the right, they heard voices. and peeping through the trees a clearing. Benji put his finger to his lips, and Marion, understanding at once, blew her nose. Bellying forward, they saw a group of ferocious painted men sitting in a semi-detached, circle. They were chanting in a strange tongue, and some sort of trial was taking place.
Silence in court! Zulu Drake, you were charged with cowardice in the face of a king of Jews. Have you anything to say before we pass sentence?
I bent my assegai.
You bent your assegai?
I bent my assegai. See the generals to the sky. Well, stood alone in the Muka war. Suddenly aligned with the mighty rock. Took a flying leap. There's a gun there. I tried to lift my stick with there. Really yell. I kicked and fell. Bent my
Slowly and noiselessly, they crept away and staggered on for perhaps a mile. Then nearby, they heard water rushing, and leaving the trail, plunged into the undergrowth towards what they prayed would be a river, and perhaps a lifeline to civilization. They made it. The river, I mean, but would they make it? For along the muddy banks, gigantic saurians slithered and slept. Benji drew his pistol, and taking aim at the nearest brute, let him have it right on the snoot. With a monstrous roar, the blighter reared up, then, followed by his crocodilian chums, with astonishing speed plunged into a boiling vortex.
I wish we had some boiling vortex smithers. I'm filthy. Ha ha,
joked Benji. Then, taking her hand, they rushed along the banks. However, luck was still with them. They heard a shout, and hurrying towards them, were amazed to see a white man, very fat and sweating, and wearing a tropical suit of such dreadful cut he could only be a European, but of course, and alas, not a Britisher. At any rate, he seemed a good sort, and smiling, he beckoned them to follow. What choice had they? He led them back into the jungle, which enveloped them like a green automatic car wash. The Double Dutchman had a comfy shack nestling close to the river. They turned in early, and in the morning noticed the small jetty. The Double Dutchman was sorry to see them go, but with gestures they insisted. It transpired he was mated with the rivermen, and arranged for some of the glossy, smiling fellows to take them down. A year or so later, they made it back to Blighty, both older, but much, much more bearded, and both slightly flattened on one side.
Oh, brilliant. No, really, it's one of my favourite rock and roll classics. What a swimmer is Dracula's daughter. That's imagery, guys and gals. Really great. At Dinner with Drac, John Zachary. It's been banned from broadcasting for years. I can't really see why. I mean, look at the filth I'm putting out. You should see my cleaning bills. He doesn't seem to mind if I use the stiff brush. Steady on. Here's some obscure, arty, crafty muck for your enjoyment.
Pepe Guccione and Zach Rollo present The Hottest Pants in Paris, starring Marv Walensky as Paul Cézanne, and introducing Grip Strong as Rusty. Paris, France, spring 1884. Montmartre, a sprawling suburb in the shadow of Notre Dame. Montmartre, the humming hub of gay Paris, for the price of a glass of absinthe, can purchase a place at the table of a prostitute or a genius.
Modern? Modern up? Nuts! Who wants it? Piss? Well, I got cupboards full of stuff. When you spit on it, who needs it? Couldn't sell it as tea towel. Girl, that's song!
I just want to paint, Gabriel. Why don't you leave me, Gabriel? Let me paint.
Wow! Hey, it's really crowded, Cezanne, isn't it?
Hey, Cezanne. How are you doing, mon copain?
Bravo, Cezanne.
They sure think a lot of you, don't they?
Everyone owes a little to Cezanne, Rusty. Perhaps tonight I'll get some of it back.
Here's the table over here, Paul.
Oh. Hey, you! Absinthe. Absinthe makes art grow stronger, Rusty.
Look, the tablecloth is all filthy, scribbles and...
Sacre bleu. That Toulouse-Lautrec, he always leaves a mess.
Lautrec?
That's got most of it.
Who was the fellow that nodded just now?
He is Sura, the pointillist.
Wow, he sure looks kind of gloomy.
Yeah. His exhibition a tragedy. Some cretin smeared medicated cream all over his canvases.
Wow, couldn't they get it off?
Oh, oui, but 2 days later, the spot's cleared up. A year's work. Ruined.
That old guy with his head on one side, what's his problem?
You're looking at Michelangelo, Rusty. Mike still has a stiff neck from painting the ceiling.
Say, he must have got real close to God on that trip.
Come see, come saw. These Italians, they eat a lot of garlic. He didn't get all that close.
Hey, you're putting me on, Paul.
Oh, man is just Rusty. From now on, la verite.
Wow. I mean, Bird Sienna Cezanne, isn't that Dago just going out?
That's him, all right, with his raincoat and binoculars. Hey, Eddie, look through any good keyholes lately? Look, over there, Rusty.
Who's the little guy drawing on the wall?
Oh, it can be.
It can't be.
That's Toulouse-Lautrec. Ça va, Henri?
Wow.
Did you wash your hands afterwards? No, please, don't stand up, Henri. Oh, you are standing up.
Another glass of absinthe?
Of course, enfant.
No.
Hey, Gorkon!
No.
Absinthe. It can put a bit of 6H extra hard in any man's pencil.
Sometimes you worry me, Paul.
And you, mon copain. Surely you have a little laundress back at your atelier?
Oh, she can wait. This much I have learned, master.
Bravo, Rusty. Women, who can get to the bottom of them?
Wow.
You treat them like dirt, they love you.
Right on.
You bourgeois! Wait, come! Really grind what you know of painting!
Hey, this is really exciting. What's going on?
He's trying to say the expressive thought of plain areas of living color look very nice if you have a window facing south, Rusty.
Return with us now to Gay Paris and the hottest pants therein. Starring Marv Walensky as Paul Cezanne and introducing Grip Strong as Rusty.
Who was the fat guy playing piano, Paul?
That was Andy Thunderclap Newman, Rusty. A strange man.
Wow, right on. Who was the big fella that started the fight? Trompe-l'oeil, Cezanne. He has shoulders like a coal heaver.
That is Gauguin. Ma foi, everyone knows Gauguin, Rusty. A genius, but a swine.
Look! They're coming over here! And that other fella with the bandaged ear must be...
You're improving, Rusty.
Ça va, Gauguin?
You look fatigué, mon ami. You should take a few weeks off. Get away from here.
I'd be glad to see the backs.
Well, give yourself a break. You look all in. Why don't you...
Basta! Enough! I go, but where? I was thinking of Mallorca.
Pardon me, sir, but how's about taking a fortnight all-inclusive at one of Impedimento Brothers' fabulous holiday camps?
Impedimento
Brothers! Wow! Yes, sirree, at Impedimento Brothers' fabulous holiday camps, there's water skiing, games, horse riding, rat juggling, and someone to look after the kids at all times. With pallet-shaped swimming pools, it's formidable!
Plongée pools, mais alors, c'est tempting, but no. I must get away, right away from this page.
Well, that's all taken care of with Impedimento, too. You can have a round-Europe tour by coach, taking in all the capital cities.
I'd like to.
No, really! Go Impedimentals this year. It's only 200 francs a fortnight or easy terms over a period of up to 2 years. And if you pay cash, you stand a chance of winning 6 stainless steel palette knives.
Don't be hasty, mon ami. Give yourself time. Your old Chiaro screwed up.
Moi, I will brood on it, pacing before my easel like a tiger, but now I must work. Au revoir!
Vincent! There he is! Over there!
Yeah, but... Since he cut his ear off, zut, he's a changed man. Hey, Vincent, allez-vous-en!
He's talking to Beethoven.
Well, that will be a one-sided conversation, n'est-ce pas? Comprenez-vous? This hurt me. À bientôt, amigos. Adios, see you soon.
Goodbye, Gauguin! Hey, sure hope you find what you're looking for.
Stop it.
Don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away. So will you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, I will sing this song. We'll meet again. Don't know when, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. We'll meet again. Again we'll meet. Meet? Meet again. Love? Would? We will? No. We will again. No. On we will again, but we may we once, but not to meet. Having just spent on him. We will. I know we'll meet again. So will you please say hello to the folks I know? Tell them I won't be long, although they may be a little sweet. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, I was singing a song. We'll meet again, but how long? Don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. again. We'll meet again. We'll meet again. Oh no. We'll meet again. We'll meet again. We'll meet again. Of course we will. We're bound to bump into each other. It's the law of averages. I mean, look, there's only so many people on the planet, and I'm pretty obvious, and gosh, I'm sure I'd know you again, but we'll meet again. And even if you don't meet me, I'll meet you. I should say so. I shall just barge into you if needs be, and say...
I think that silence is appropriate, and it shall remain appropriate.